we haven't seen out of KINOTROPE yet, so they've kind of got a back pocket pick as well to bring into this BO3.
Yep. Little curveball. Mind you, going onto Cafe against any Brazilian team is quite scary, and DPLUS, they're from Brazil. But also, then you go to Bank and you're thinking, is Bank going to be a good map for KINOTROPE? Well, mind you, they beat Scars on Bank in the upper bracket. Scars known to starters be a very strong map, very strong team rather on Bank as a map. So overall, if KINOTROPE can compete here on Lair and Cafe, they have actually a really good map veto.
Yes, the pressure is on KINOTROPE here in this first map of the best of 3 series as DPLUS have decided to take us to Lair. But KINOTROPE, they're no strangers to this map. They got a little bit of a warm-up last week by playing CAG in that upper bracket final, and while they lost the map, they certainly have learned plenty from playing against the best team in the region. Now it's a shot at DPLUS to go deeper than KINOTROPE have ever done before. Let's kick it off on Lair.
So curveballs, we need to see something out of the normal executes here from KINOTROPE and the normal setups on defense, because if you take these two rosters of DPLUS, Ski, and KINOTROPE, DPLUS, they should be winning in most metrics. The experience, the individual players, yada yada yada. What KINOTROPE can do now is not play default Siege, where you do the expected outcome and the same strat and what you're supposed to be doing. You need to have a bit of your own element to this, bit of a flair. So while the operator bans are pretty default, double shield ban, double electro bros, we gotta see the setups a bit more creative from KINOTROPE here to start things off. And very important, first 3 rounds, so the very first part of the half here, just feel out your opponent, okay? If you're defending as KINOTROPE, are DPLUS going for direct rushes? Are they going for executes? Are they going for very like hard breach oriented? Are they playing, you know, key operators like a Glass or a Ying or a Grim, for example? And then we gotta see around 4, 5, and 6 of the last half of defense for KINOTROPE what small adjustments they're gonna make to their operator selection and what kind of counters they're gonna go for. Here in the first one, it's a bit of different obstacles they're going to put in the way of DPLUS. They got both the mirror windows, which they're then defending with the mute jammer and with the Jaeger, which I love because we often see teams pick just the mirror, attackers take the Ash, and then you just trade, you know, 2 Ash breaches for the 2 mirror windows. Now both operators don't have a gadget. By bringing out the Jaeger, now you can protect them a bit more. So if they were to pick up the Ash, for example, they got to burn the utility first and go through that whole second step. And then you got utility and information in the Echo, both plant denial, and of course information for the staircases, the roam extensions. Then you got a time to lock things down. So overall for KINOTROPE, a very strong start in terms of operators.
And little minor details there I really like from KINOTROPE. They created a single reinforcement on the operations wall and then a line of sight on the second one at the start of the prep phase. Very end of the prep phase, they reinforce over that kill hole. So if DPLUS Kia had done a little bit of early prep phase droning and thought they knew the setup, they would be wrong. They were misled. They were baited. Oh!
Oh my god, the shoddy.
Oh my god, that's terrifying there for Muzi on the Deimos. Thankfully, though, Aegator doesn't overcommit here to the kill. And so he survives. He's got such a pivotal position with all that util on the main stairs, so he needs to try and stay alive.
Yeah. Small thing though, right? Like they're keeping DPLUS on their toes, not giving them anything for free. They can just sprint to the building, open the door, and start droning it for free. They gotta be like, okay guys, let's drone in safe positions, hold each other, expect that kind of push coming in. Very good summer charge though. Sadly does not get shot. So now Aegator on a lot of pressure on the staircase, has 1 or 2 ADSs, I believe, and a mute jammer, so he can evade the Deimos tracker. He can survive some of the first initial camps on fire. But if DPLUS can go through this very nice and, you know, fundamental, step 1, step 2, step 3, they do have all the right tools to just maybe get a free kill here.
Yeah, I feel like the Capitao is the key ingredient here to get rid of the Jaeger's position, or the mute's position, I should say, but they're actually able to flush him out just before that anyway. He gets rejected by those Grim Bees as well as he looks to try and retreat, and Levy is inside bathroom, so this is good gradual progress made by DPLUS.
Very good. They've gotten the hardest step done, I would argue, and they got a lot of damage on Aegator, who can't take as many fights with the SMG11 shotgun combo. The question is, where are they going to finish this execute? Because DPLUS, while they're showing us what they want to take in control, they can still go towards the back portion with display window. They can go frontal through the breach because they got in bathroom, they got in top rocket stairs, but they have lost Nears on the IQ.
No.
They're just going to walk straight into server solo and just lose the player. Levy, no trade.
Yeah, that is a very deadly position to try and push up against a shotgun from the Echo. And now DPLUS are quite bloodied. 3 players remain. While there's a lot of damage here onto the KINOTROPE squad, that's not enough. Nade needs to come through from Muzi. That's his last one. He hasn't even used his Deimos tracker even once, but a good down onto Eclair as Midi looks to try and get aggressive and finish it, I believe. The fire from Falls will do so. Muzi tries to make his way forward. He is essentially solo on this bathroom side of the attack. Meanwhile, Midi is going for a complete flank. He's gone through Skybridge and storage. Gator is down below, but I'm not sure he has the adequate information because DPLUS are actually completely flipping their push. And a big kill on the Kawao from Midi. The Yokai may be able to clutch this at the end of the round if Akayu doesn't do it first anyway with his bearing 9. The plant starting to go down from Falls as Muzi must cover with the AK. It comes down to Gator and Akayu together, and they know exactly where the last 2 attackers are. Falls though, he and Muzi together piece this up in the 2v2. Akayu now revealed, he finds one, can't go for the reload when Muzi is there to swing, and DPLUS just barely get that first round on the board.
Again, it goes to show just how well KINOTROPE can fight back in the server, and they had multiple win conditions there in the late round. A C4 downstairs, a Yokai drone, and 2 people by the bomb side. And I actually think on 1 DPLUS to round is, with 20 seconds left, they flank from Skybridge and they hit the back portion. So now they have 3 attackers attacking from 3 different areas with KINOTROPE having a defender downstairs. That means, again, there's going to be a gap. 3 attackers, 2 defenders that cannot cover every single avenue, and DPLUS they get into that bomb site. And then they go for a plant that is a little bit deeper in the bomb site as well, which means a C4 downstairs onto a default location is not gonna find anything. So they think about the C4, they think about the backstab, and they flood the bomb site. DPLUS simply just either read KINOTROPE on the play because a new mute was downstairs from dropping the hatch earlier, or they thought, hey, we can't find that 3rd defender. The only way he can like mess with us is if he's gonna go below. So they thought about the possible outcomes. They go for a counterplay. It is just barely though a 1v1 round victory, and it goes to show KINOTROPE they do have a real shot at this because it's not gonna be easy defending here in Lair. Due to this double shield ban in the Monty and the Blitz, they have left open every single power operator known to man, and we saw it, right? The Grim, the Capital, the Deimos, all being picked in round number 1. And here in round number 2, you're also going to start seeing the Blackbeard and then a little pocket pit here in both the Thatcher and the Roar for DPLUS. This is showing us this could be a very simple, direct kind of plant approach. We're going to close off some doors, watch the C4s or the smoke babes with the EMPs of the Thatcher, and then hit a plant with the shield.
Yeah, these kinds of direct attacks end up being very finicky, though. Sometimes you put down a Ryura gate and you turn your back to it, suddenly it gets impacted. We've got 2 impacts on Gatorada.
Yeah.
He's on the roam at the moment, but a C4 from Akayu could do the same. So it doesn't take much on the defensive side to just pick apart one ingredient. You're relying on your Blackbeard, suddenly the Blackbeard dies to some feet shots or to a crossfire or to some explosives, and immediately you are completely disoriented. KINOTROPE, though, they've got good layers to this defense. The double fire in the Tachanka and the Goyo will keep this stairs locked down for a little while yet.
And they can 2-bar freeze the hatch or a wall somewhere else as well, just to stall for a bit longer on time. But if they deal with Gator here on the stairs, I mean, that's going to be the first line of defense. So the moment that he falls back or dies, they can start approaching the bomb side. So now they're going to push this again. KINOTROPE, they don't have an extended roam upstairs. They've surrendered the complete map control. They're only playing on the staircase and their sole roam or top floor. So now it's about timing and 1v1 fights.
Oh, nice.
Toxic Bait pop. The explosive canister also shot earlier by DPLUS. Now, mind you, there is an Asami downstairs here below Gator. They can actually close off the window and run back towards the bomb site, but they have a play elsewhere. Gatorada wants to go for a flank down the stairs, but he saw the drone watching him.
Yeah, that said, I think Gatorada's done his job applying that pressure.
Oh, Toxic Babe is not...
Yeah, the problem is the Toxic Babe actually got destroyed by that grenade, I believe. Or perhaps it was shot.
Yeah.
He needs to try and put some more pressure on, but no, instead, he will fall. The Blackbeard getting active here. DPLUS have broken through this defense and looking to chew off a little bit more. KINOTROPE had a valiant effort, but the lack of that gas babe really caused them to suffer. No follow-up from a Tachanka fire or from a Goyo fire. And no flank opportunity as Gatorada's been shut down. Good kill from Kawao now. As now he can engage with the Shamika launcher, try and put some pressure on. 25 seconds does not leave a lot to go wrong here for DPLUS.
Yeah, they're gonna roll off doors, deny the crossfires and start making their way in. The issues the fire and the freeze coming out as well. False navigate this perfectly with only 10 seconds left.
Good kill, though, from Nears. The Blackbeard is enabling this aggression. Now Falls needs to go for this plant. He starts forcing it down. Carwell needs to try and deny it with the fire. He's not going to be able to do so. The Rayora also is going to make it so difficult. The recent buff making that door open even slower than before. And DPLUS, a quick and frantic last-minute execute pays dividends.
If that Toxic Babe goes off of Aegator, all of a sudden the round is completely different because DPLUS approached the bombs at walls with about 14 seconds left. A Toxic Babe removes 12. So again, we're talking about one more Toxic Babe, one more Tashanka Fire, a few more Asami Keeper Barriers being tossed on out, or if KINOTROPE didn't die so quickly, maybe they could have reinforced off the wall on the fallback. They had 2 spare reinforcements right here when Aegator died, and they had a soft wall leading to the bomb side. With only a hard can opener left in pocket of Moosey, who's actually not too close in that moment. So again, all these small details could have changed everything in the server. 2 rounds in a row, still very close. But this is showing us, right? If you let DPLUS go for a bomb site execute, they can get around victory. So now KINOTROPE can do one of 2 things. Either they gotta double down on holding the bomb site and just be a little bit better, because they only need to be a little bit better to like find a victory. Or they gotta stop them from getting to that execute with 4 or 5 attackers alive and strong gadgets and contest them earlier on with more aggression. It really is a matter of either or. You can't play that awkward middle ground because DPLUS are playing so heavily into execute.
And to me, it goes to show that the best teams in the world, it's not just about the macro strategy, it's also about these minutiae of tiny little moments. That Gas Babe doesn't detonate correctly, and it lets DPLUS in. Then the Smoke loses that gunfight because he has the shotgun out, not the SMG-11, which means that the Blackbeard knows he can't die to a headshot. And suddenly, the situation changes. Gatorada on his flank gets shut down. All these little moments went in favor of DPLUS. And once you add together enough of them, that makes a round.
KINOTROPE opted for the Maestro, so more information, a bit more, killing of drones, doing player damage. This I like, a shotgun close by the bathroom window. I kind of wish we had that previously. You can also shoot the Selma charge off the wall if they were to go for it, but instead, we shoot the drone, we run away, we take a bit of damage, now we're surrendering bathroom once more. And these Mute Jammers, they won't stop the Selma charge. It'll affect a Thermite and a Hibana, not the Ace. And if that wall gets open up, however, was there an Evil Eye that sapped it, or did they shoot it from the hallway?
Because he has an Evil Eye in the bathroom right now.
Yep, so they put an Evil Eye Maestro Cam inside a bathroom, which means that the only way to destroy it is if they jump in the window first and then risk that player position or bounce a crazy nade off the window frames. And now they're gonna jump on in, but the thing is, James, they've lost their Selmas. So they used all their Selmas first, then they jumped in. It's the wrong order. They got countered.
Oh, but a critical kill there comes through. Gatorada supports from down below. He goes for a flank and he saves Aegator's life. However, the Mute is still on the floor, which means that kill might be able to be confirmed before too long. Akayu's in such an awkward position. He's got the LMG of the Elder. Couldn't tell if he actually successfully shot that Grimby. I think he did. Claire almost got caught off guard, but Akayu comes to life with the bullet hose for one. Midi now in a 1v3, but with Aegator on the floor in that kill, it becomes a 1v1 against Eclair. I think he knows about this injury as well, and it's guaranteed. Now a 1v1. Eclair has Diffuser in his clutches, and 2 Keeper Barriers to try and change the architecture of this situation. Midis gets muted up, and now 1v1. It's an awkward position for him. He's got such a good weapon to take this fight.
Equal health, no drones from Mitzi, and 1 keep in pocket from Eclair. That's going to go out right here. This is the final one. So 20 seconds left. Has to walk through a single doorway. He knows this. As does Mitzi. Is down to a raw 50-50 gunfight.
And he doesn't know where he is. He thinks he's on the mirror window, but no, he's behind the desk. He goes for a swing. A big clutch for Eclair, the former Scars coach, back in the server. And he gets KINOTROPE their much-needed first round on the scoreboard.
And look at that. KINOTROPE with a curveball. Akayu on the Maestro changes everything in that round. So you can argue that DPLUS, when you throw in that first Selma charge, you should realize that it got destroyed and what actually destroyed it. I don't think they realized there was an evil until the second Selma. They thought the player maybe swung the doorway or could see it from like an angle on the door, etc. But no, it was the Maestro Evil Eye. And they realized too late. So they jump in the window, they've already wasted their Selmas. Despite KINOTROPE winning that previous round and finding great success in the first two despite losing them, they will call a tech timeout. But what did I say, James? After the first 3 rounds, it's up to KINOTROPE to figure out how is their opponent of DPLUS playing and what adjustments do they need to make to counter it. They've seen the final operator bans, they've played 3 rounds, and they've won 1, lost 2, and it's been close. Now they get 60 seconds to lock in and figure out how can we make this second half the best possible to get even a 3-3 even half, or maybe try and get a lead 4-2.
For KINOTROPE, that also means a chance to talk to Okamesh, their new coach. He's been on a number of teams in the APAC region and originally actually played with some of these players like Akayu and Carwow on that original roster, the previous iterations of KINOTROPE when they were called Donuts USG, Varel and various other names. He needs to come in and help them because it has been a game of counters, hasn't it? Like you said, okay, we're doing this kind of mute Jaeger setup at the top of the stairs. It gets countered by the ace. Okay, we counter the ace with the Maestro. Now the Azami has been banned out, which is eventually what Eclair used to win that clutch. And for DPLUS, they lost their Deimos, which means that the Blackbeard is still in, by the way. And I would argue maybe the Blackbeard has been even more threatening than that Deimos. KINOTROPE took a little bit of a gamble going for that operator ban. Now they go back to the basement. They need to figure out how they can win that battle for the stairs that they lost last time.
So KINOTROPE, again, different playstyle options. They have a ton of different trap operators that are like try and, get into better gunfights. They can play behind utility, like the mirror windows, deployable shields, because by banging out the demos, you can't get tracked in your, soul positions. You're gonna have one less set of grenades on the attacking side, because the best way to get nades now for DPLUS is probably gonna play Striker and or Blackbeard. That's gonna get you 4 nades if that's what you want. In this case, they're actually gonna play flashbangs and can openers on the Striker and then bring flowers for soft destruction instead. Or KINOTROPE can play the same kind of small counter utility, right? A bit of Maestro, a bit of this and that, to try and get smoke for plant denial, stalling out the timer. But you're also getting a bit more aggro in the roam probably, because now, if you're going to be a sole roamer and there's no demos, you're not going to be having to fear that constant information game. Sure, False and Blackbeard can still run you down and look for you, but it's a lot harder to find the roamer than to hunt them, right? If you know exactly where they are, you can run in their direction. Now you gotta check every corner, every room, either drone everything or send Falls on that journey, who's also the main pusher for the staircases by the bomb site later on. So Falls is gonna have a lot of different jobs this round.
Yeah, it's a huge task. I can't help but feel like this round will be won or lost on this minigame here on the staircase.
Yeah.
That puts a lot of pressure on Ayagator's position as the smoke, and a lot of pressure on Falls on the other side. Flores here is something that we didn't have before, and also with that Azami ban, KINOTROPE are not going to be able to control the downstairs at the bottom of the blue stairs. There's this window that previously kept getting Azami'd up. And now Ayagator will not have that safe fall-off route because the Azami has been banned.
It's Ayagator. Again, Toxic Babes last time had a big impact, right? If they grenaded mid-air and you lose that 50 seconds of burn, that's going to make the round much more harder for him. So we got 1 more left in pocket, and there's still 1 minute and 15 seconds left on the clock. They've done the vert, meaning that the fallback should be covered. They got the EP and Thatcher, who can nullify any of the helping gadgets. No more Toxic Babes. This is it. They're pushing the staircase. They are on the window holding the flank as well. What are they going to do? They're going to send it.
Yeah, he manages to retreat just in time, but Gatorada gets red on his flank. He tried to do the exact same thing he did the last time they defended this bomb site. Thankfully for KINOTROPE, even though they lose that engagement, they managed to get Ayagator back to safety and reinforce over the rotate hole that lost them the round last time.
I've had a can opener Moosey's on that Striker, right? He played Deimos before with can openers, aka Hard Destruction. Now he's been the Striker, exact same thing. So they just breached the wall at this moment. 30 seconds to go. Shanket can still deny the plant in theory, but you're down a defender, leaving a gap elsewhere, and you gotta clear in this very, very dangerous corner. If he gets checked out by Falls, he'll be as good as dead.
Oh my god, he does get checked. I can't believe it. Falls. If you hadn't looked that way, that's the round done. for DPLUS, but no, he stays alive, and a second one for Muzi now, supported by that Blackbeard. Ayagata and Nakayu now trying to desperately fight back, but they are pushed into a corner by the Rayora, and Nears has gone big for another kill. Ayagata, 1v5. As we went down into red time, finally the diffuser is planted, and DPLUS are on the verge of finding their third kill. Third round on the board. Indeed, Midi puts the nail in the coffin, and KINOTROPE are on the ropes.
I mean, we can basically call that a flawless round for DPLUS, right? But it doesn't feel like it. There are so many small moments where that round can be won by KINOTROPE. Whether it's Ayagata getting a kill on that staircase, whether all of our defenders make it back towards the bomb site, if Falls doesn't check the hard right corner of the breach, which they had no intel on, by the way, then Blackbeard dies and the plant becomes much more difficult. Again, there are all these micro decisions that can alter the outcome of these rounds. And I hope KINOTROPE, as individual players, are sitting there going, guys, yes, we lost, but that was a good round. That was close. If this flank timing is 2 seconds differently, either he flanks 2 seconds earlier or 2 seconds later, they might get a freebie. Like, there are so many things. Jashanga gets the melee onto Falls on the BB, but then Muzi covers him perfectly on the re-entry. But it goes to show the level of DPLUS and how they're not underestimating KINOTROPE, because look at every single attack. They are making it so unfair. They're fighting 3v1 on the staircases, forcing man advantage. They're always using a ton of utility, whether it's the fire from Capital, the flash grenades, or the frag grenades. DPLUS are not taking any equal fights usually. They're always trying to make it unfair, as they should, but that's because they're respecting KINOTROPE. Right? They're saying, hey, we know these guys are good strategically. We have to pick them apart strategically as well, despite the fact that we have really good fraggers.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder, if you could go back in time, do you ban the Blackbeard instead of the Deimos? Because that shield was so powerful. Arguably, I would say the Blackbeard might even have been better than any potential blitz on Monty. When I saw the Monty blitz ban, obviously Monty is just so good because you can play so slowly with it. The blitz, I don't know, I feel like obviously only really good in close quarters. The Blackbeard, I feel like, is kind of the second best shield behind the Monty at the moment. Getting rid of the blitz and leaving that Monty, getting rid of the Deimos, leaving that Blackbeard in, feels so deadly.
I could definitely see a world where you ban Monty and then into a mixture of, you know, the Blackbeard, the Capital, the Grim, and the Deimos. That's kind of where I want to see it. I do agree with you that the blitz ban does feel a bit low value, but if KINOTROPE are expecting a double shield kind of aggro push from DPLUS, that ban obviously counters that. Good bit of value there from a Flourish Drone, and again, KINOTROPE, no roam game. DPLUS are immediately on the bomb site breach, on the doors, clearing utilities, setting things up. But we've seen this attack so many times before, James, right? The good old sense, throw down the roly-polies, go for a plant. And KINOTROPE, they got perfect response. They got Evilized in the bomb site that are being cleared right now. They got the Shanka, they got the Solace. They can see where their plant will be going down later on. Can they get a freebie on the bomb site here? Can they clear Kawa and Maestro? Because that's the big thing. If Kawa can go 1-for-1 trade, that is so worth it.
He finds his one, looks for a little bit more, as he's about to get peeks now by Midi on the Sens. Now, Midi is the most important operator left up for DPLUS because he has that Sens. Not even the Evil Eyes can peer through those projector walls. Muzi finds one, Levy joins the fray. Gatorada on for his flank. The first time in this game he's found success on a flank, down into a 3v3. This is where KINOTROPE are in the advantage because they have the control up above with that Solus. But thankfully for DPLUS, Midi on the Sens is still alive.
A plan shouldn't technically be possible, but of course anything can happen if you catch a good timing, or you can disrupt them upstairs at the same time. And DPLUS are figuring out, guys, can we just go for it? What operators do they have? They might not know that Solus is on the board necessarily just yet, because they haven't seen what happens top floor. They've only been joining downstairs. And by losing 2 players, they might have lost their win condition. Those are the roly-polies. There's the plan. Can they deny it?
Oh, indeed he can.
Easy.
Perfect. Didn't even need to overclock the gadget to be able to tell which electronic detector was the planter. Now he's being flanked up above. He needs to protect himself and deny the plant. Great pre-fire from the player that he was fighting. Muzi upstairs in a 1v2 now. Drops down into side with the AR-33, but he doesn't have the diffuser. And a great round there from KINOTROPE, denying that plant and locking down the bomb site.
I generally don't think that DPLUS knew there was a Solus on the board. They're planning without a cover, not going upstairs to distraction, and not really doing anything but just chalking down the utility and going for a plan, hoping those defenders of KINOTROPE would walk into their guns. But as I said before in the introduction, KINOTROPE are strategically a very solid team, and they're showing this here by having all these small win conditions and ways to win a game and a round. Honestly, big praise to Kawa getting a 1-2 onto Capital, absolutely massive, and then Gatorada later on who gets the flank kill finally to even bet the numbers to a 3-on-3. Because like you said, this puts KINOTROPE in the advantageous position. They have equal numbers, which is the number one thing. If there are 3 different areas of attack, they can cover those 3 different angles. They can hold a crossfire, they can fight back vertically, they can drop back down the hatches. They have different ways of playing out the round. If that was a 3v2 in favor of DPLUS, for example, that changes everything. So, KINOTROPE understanding when they're strong and when they're weak, when to fight, and when to just let DPLUS play out the round. And now they can fight for an even half, they can fight for a 3-3. But to do so, James, they gotta go back to top floor, which has been troublesome, okay? Yeah, they had a 1v1 clock here, sure. But that was also off the counts play with the Maestro Evil Eye taking down the Ace's Selma charge on the bathroom wall. DPLUS won't fall for that again. And now they brought out the Ying as well for a bit more chaos.
I agree with you. It was only a 1v1 when KINOTROPE won this bomb site, but it was also only a 1v1 when DPLUS won this bomb site. It was that 2v2 that eventually came down to a 1v1, and the Echo failed to clutch up the 1v2 for KINOTROPE. So Muzi and Eclair have both clutched on this bomb site prior. Who wins it this time around? Well, it seems like KINOTROPE are not changing too much, let's be honest. Obviously, they've doubled down on the plant denial and the smoke and the Tachanka, but they've foregone the Jaeger this time around. They've kept the Maestro, foregone the Echo. On the DPLUS side, a brand new ingredient we haven't seen brought even once so far. It's that exciting, that crazy, chaotic Ying brought to the table by Nears.
And a different approach here for DPLUS. They're taking it a bit slower than usual. Also droning downstairs, they brought secondary MPs. Really cautious of these hallways. Mind you, without any Warden in play, Nears can get a ton of value later on, but you can see DPLUS how safe they're playing. This is a classic case of we're playing for execute, guys. What does that mean? We need all 5 attackers alive for the first minute and 40 seconds of the round. Let's get to the bomb site walls, to the bomb site doors, 3, 2, 1, and then work together. This means it's gonna be a very slow burn because they gotta ensure safety is the #1 priority. And then once they get everybody in the right positions, it's gonna go very quickly out of nowhere.
Grim has been so good on this bomb site as well for DPLUS so far. In conjunction with the Ying, it might be able to flush Alligator out of his position. Out come the Candelas. Big Nitro Cell doesn't find anything, but slowed is Nears, and he's not able to get into position in time. Oh, I thought he was running the shotgun. That's why he had the Reaper out, but no, actually he's still running the LMG. And now he looks to try and take some fights with it. Rounding these corners into server. Do they know how deep DPLUS have gone? He doesn't have a lot of mobility here, but there's a player inside of the bomb site that is just looking the complete wrong direction. I don't know what's going on, but somehow Nears has managed to sneak behind enemy lines all the way deep into the bomb site. Found the gap, but Gatorada covers him off. And now suddenly KINOTROPE realized DPLUS was sneaking in from server all along. Big kill from Muzi after Eclair tries to retake mezzanine control. But now Muzi is confused. He doesn't know what's dirty and what's clean for DPLUS. 15 seconds on the clock. And now DK must erupt into the bomb site quickly. Falls needs to look for a plant opportunity, but he's trapped in server at the moment. And now he's gone down. Big flank from Gatorada from the Sky Bridge. Will find Midi as well over at the breach. And that is the round and the half. Done and dusted. KINOTROPE will push deep, but they tie the scoreline. Absolute banger tunes. A lot of tense emotions on the faces of both teams. Wow. So, I don't know, I think we may as well just give a little bit of a spoiler, a peek behind the scenes to the audience, Pengu. But we heard from our production team that DPLUS called their tactical timeout during the halftime role swap timeout, which means that they want an extra minute to play out now. Now, we're getting confirmation of whether they can take that now. Apparently, they can't take it right now, but they've just had 2 minutes to talk about it. But it's kind of telling DPLUS want an extra minute to talk about their defensive half. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the fact that KINOTROPE have gone toe-to-toe with them, and also, there is a world where KINOTROPE could have maybe gone, you know, 4-2 or 5-1 if this one gunfight, this one piece of utility, or this one area of the map went their favor. They have really showed us that DPLUS, they are beatable in this matchup. In that very last round, it was very exciting for a good 60 seconds straight, so we didn't have to talk about it then, but KINOTROPE had different win conditions on their final defense. They actually had Kawa on the Maestro dropped down below, sitting on the evil camps on site, and there was nowhere for DPLUS to play. And plant, rather, because KINOTROPE covered both the bomb sites fully with the Maestro Evil Eyes. And last round, DPLUS, they got into server right here, they got deep in towards the bomb site, but KINOTROPE arguably let them take that space for free, and then punished them by flanking back up the staircase in the hallways, and using the Evil Eyes, sapping, red pinging, etc. KINOTROPE, they have been, I'm not going to say a step ahead, but they have definitely been on track and on par with DPLUS. And I think that's why they're concerned and why they wanted that extra bit of time, possibly. Because they know that, again, one small mistake, and if KINOTROPE can be as good on their attacks as they were in defenses, that's enough to maybe steal away later.
Yeah, that's an insane prospect. However, it's going to be tough when they're going up against a Clash and a Warden in this coming round. You look at the lineup from KINOTROPE, you've got a Blitz. I mean, both the Warden and the Clash, in a way, get counter that Blitz. So KINOTROPE, you know, obviously Monty was banned out. They could have gone Blackbeard like DPLUS did, but no, not to be. Gators wanted to take close range fights, got shotgun on Deimos.
Not against it. You got a couple of staircases to fight. You got some good pushes later on. The big issue is the good old tale of Clash versus Blitz, right? What do you do there? You gotta go in a different location. Like, wherever Near's gonna be playing from, Akayu cannot go there with Blitz. You gotta just go the complete opposite side of the building because you're gonna get stunned and you're gonna die and you're not gonna have a very good time. So, this is DPLUS giving them, hey guys, problem solve this. Kite Claw. They got the Clash, they got the Ward in the case of a rush, the Ying, for example. As it has been left open. Grim Monty was removed from action. Let's see how KINOTROPE can navigate this hallway. Getting the staircase control, getting the bomb site breached. That can be the difficulty of this bomb site.
Yeah, wow, the smokes. There's clearly something cooking here for KINOTROPE, but I think DPLUS are trying to figure out exactly what it is. Deep into the mezzanine now for Akayu on the Blitz. And the Gridlock track singers are trying to restrict a little bit of movement. The Kaid here actually might be a little bit of a thorn in KINOTROPE's side. They haven't managed to breach neither the external wall nor the internal wall of the bomb site where you would typically want to plant.
Oh, they're gonna come now. Kawa's rotating on in. He's on the mezzanine rafters position. They just found the Kite Claw vertically as well with the air gator from beneath. They can pop up on the wall. It sets up a default plant location, but there's one more Toxic Beard in the pocket of Mitzi, and the Clash is still a huge problem.
Yeah, this is the issue, right? The Clash is going to continually put a thorn in Akayu's side as Muzi decides to get aggressive. He runs around the smoke to try and find one kill, as Nears can just continue scouting for info and making it really uncomfortable for Akayu on the mezzanine. Now he plants that shield down and wants to try and take some fights. How do KINOTROPE deal with this? It's going to need to be explosive. But with that smoke keeping them at bay, this is going to be nigh impossible. How does Muzi miss those shots? I would love to know. Doesn't seemingly matter. Akayu goes down regardless. KINOTROPE cooked for way too long, but turns out the round was burned after all. DPLUS hold on very handily.
And that right there shows you just how much value the Clash can bring you. They can hold the bomb site, deny the breach, and just fight back against the two different enemies, right? A blitz and a capital holding the angles. Normally, that's a very strong position as the attackers, but with the clash, you can sap the blitz, and now the capital is 2 versus 1. Or rather, 1 versus 2. It's a very good small bit of utility uses there from DPLUS. It's good read into how to stop KINOTROPE. Again, the kite claws mid-round, hiding them, not pre-placing them. They were dealt with pretty well there from KINOTROPE. Job well done. But then how do you deal with the clash? You don't really have any ways to do so. They spent the caps on fire early as well to get the hallway control rather than dealing with the clash. So it goes to show that third operator ban, it could later on have to be targeted towards the clash. But this is the awkward part. Clash doesn't really work for that many of the bomb sites here on layer. Most teams only play the operator on top floor. Are you really gonna ban an operator to make one bomb site weaker? Because that's another issue. Well, you gotta learn how to attack the basement and the tertiary. So to be honest, if you're KINOTROPE right now, you go, guys, top floor they can have it. Just gotta get the next two.
It's funny, KINOTROPE seem to really struggle on that top floor. Attack or defense doesn't really seemingly matter. Both sides, DPLUS, have a really good read on how to play that bomb side. Now changing things up for DPLUS. And a couple of curveballs thrown here. Very different kind of setup from DPLUS to what we saw from KINOTROPE. No smoke, no Tachanka, for example, but plenty of red in the operator lineup. We've got the Kapkan, the Spetsnaz brother. We've also got the Skopos, which is very unusual, trying to seemingly go for a roam clear but be able to fall back to site in case of a rush, which is exactly what's going to happen. Unfortunately, for Gatorada, he's got a face full of fire from that Goyo's Vulcan, which will slow down this attack from KINOTROPE and now suddenly put Ayagator in a little bit of a lonely position. At least he has a lone nade to deal with that deployable shield on the yellow stairs. I think DPLUS have realized, all right, so they're trying to rush. That's fine. Yeah. Skopos can TP back to site, no worries.
Then they popped most of the Goyo fire. I think there's 3 different fires popped in the round to stop that possible rush. They don't know about, like, any of the external areas of the bomb site. They don't know about garage. They don't know about blue stairs. So they're popping the Goyos to say, guys, let's stall for 20 seconds, get people back towards the bomb site for those who can. Mitty, who's currently stuck on the roam game, has to worry about himself, where the anchors on the side go, oh guys, who's watching this door? Oh, you are? Okay, I'm gonna watch this door instead. Establish whose responsibility each area is. Meanwhile, for KINOTROPE, they're gonna reset. Now they're thinking, hey, they rushed back towards the bomb site. That means the roam might be free. We can take some map space, more or less for free, get the verticality, get a bit of damage done. But the thing is, Mitty never rotated back. He is still upstairs. Skopos shell can still TP top floor. So there's still roam gaming here from DPLUS.
Roam game potential, at the very least.
Yeah, potential.
And they know about Mitty as well on that ground floor, seemingly, or watching the angles. Eclair wants to just peek into the bomb side, doesn't he? He's so close as well. With some vertical pressure. He's cleared filtration.
I mean, they have no denial, really.
Maybe he can prone in, try and shoot this Malusi Banshee. Indeed he does, from pretty much complete safety. Now he wants to prone inside. This is very iffy. Wow, this is a crazy kind of execute here for KINOTROPE. The first impact doesn't deny the plant, but eventually the plant will go down. 2v5 in the post is nigh impossible for KINOTROPE. DPLUS Kia should be on the money here. But Ayagator and Carwow need to play this perfectly. And while there's a roamer upstairs, Carwow is completely distracted. He takes down Mitty, about to get flanked by a second player though as well. DPLUS going for a very ambitious retake, but Ayagator is very close to the bomb site. And he needs to make his way inside, caught by the Denari's laser. I don't think he's going to be in position to try and take this player out. No grenades to speak of, and he won't be able to find the angle. A consolation frag means nothing for KINOTROPE as DPLUS Kia keep their cool and make that retake a reality.
I mean, again, it's the tiny things. They had a player flank stockroom here from DPLUS. They one-tap the planter, one-tap the guy covering on the floor, and they make the 5v5 into a 5v3. They flank above, they retake beneath, and they get another round secured. But this is still KINOTROPE planting against them, finding the gap, pressuring a bomb site rush, then taking map space. KINOTROPE, once more, they do so many things correctly. They do so many things well. But DPLUS, I gotta say, their adaptation in the mid to late rounds, saying, guys, this is the situation in front of us. How do we deal with it? And how many times they work together. They push. When they're flanking upstairs, they had a player walk in the door trying to take the gunfight, while a second player impacted the wall to distract the opponent. Like, there's all these small mini plays constantly happening from the side of DPLUS, showing great level of synergy and team coordination, utilizing every single player and every piece of primary and secondary gadget. Now they've been hiding the bandit on this tertiary bomb site, and that's gonna be the spanner in the works. Hey, we can trick the walls. Somehow KINOTROPE didn't know about this because they picked up the Maverick rather, which we almost never get see here in tier 1 level of play, and it is the #1 counter to the bandit, of course. So it's perfect.
In theory, but in reality, you never know how those Maverick holes are going to work out. And we don't have a lot of soft destruction here. I guess the shotgun from the gridlock secondary might be able to destroy the soft part of the wall if we Mav top and bottom here for Carwow. But obviously it takes a long time compared to a simple exothermic charge. But at least it does guarantee you get that wall open despite any bandit tricking.
Interesting. We have an early fire pop there on the Sky Bridge. This is the thing that DPLUS did do very differently than KINOTROPE is. KINOTROPE, they are giving up the map space for free and only playing by the bomb side. DPLUS are extending very deep into the building, putting down a Goyo canister, they shoot one drone, they shoot that stall for 20 seconds, then they fall back kind of step by step. It's very kind of, you know, new generation way of playing for DPLUS. You're going to fight for the entirety of the map space. KINOTROPE almost playing old school Siege in a way, which isn't bad, it's just a different way of choosing it stylistically. But, as you said, just peek holes on the side with the Maverick. Doesn't apply a lot of pressure because you cannot walk on in, so there's no need to watch that vertically here from DPLUS. They have less angles to worry about. KINOTROPE, this attack feels a little bit simplistic to me. And I think DPLUS is not going to have an issue with that.
Oh, nice
Less is more.
shots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, despite the Dogoby call and the Lion scan, Mitty still finds that kill. That is the massive testament to his roaming ability, but he's not able to find a second one. Good reply from Eclair, only takes a little bit of damage. Much needed one for KINOTROPE, but still plenty of work to be done on this top floor to try and clear out these roamers and assert vertical dominance. Even on the bomb side, things are going to get awkward. But look at the Sens wall rolling on out. There's no Solus on the board here for DPLUS, which means that they're just going to have to play off the sound cues and other information. There's some Valkyrie cams in sight. Perhaps Mitty can be sitting those to call for info. Falls is taken down Eclair. Good deep push from Akayu, finds one, but a spray from Levy, peeking out from the bomb site, finds another kill. Now he's being pressured from behind him, but it's only 2 players left up for Kino. Gatarada needs to have a big impact as the plant goes down for Akayu despite 2 players on that top floor for DPLUS. Muzi's got 10 kills, tearing it up in this round, in this game, but he needs to get active now. It's a 2v2 retake as KINOTROPE further their advantage, and Gatarada has the perfect angle. Muzi needs to hit the shot of his life coming down the staircase. Meanwhile, Falls upstairs doesn't have a way back onto the site safely as of yet. Big kill though for Muzi. This might open the gates for the round. Akayu to find one, but Muzi! Oh my god, Muzi! That's why this guy here is a world champ, and that's why he came all the way to DPLUS. Massive clutch up and match point for DPLUS Kia.
Another round where KINOTROPE, they do so many things so well. Another round in the attack where they get down that diffuser. Another round where they're looking like they're actually gonna win it until they don't. Muzi, a dance on that staircase, up and down, back and forth, finds the 1v1 to open it up, and then you drop the hatch, you push the door together, you force that kind of 2v1 sort of gunfight. DPLUS, yes, they're up 6-3, but we cannot understate just how close these rounds have been and how much potential KINOTROPE have had every single time. The issue is potential doesn't win you a map. Performing, executing, and succeeding in a round, that is what you need. And they were just, what, 5 seconds shy of it? There are not many seconds left spare there for Muzi once he found the kills. Again, flank watch was good, map control was great, problem solving the bomb site, sense walling and walking through, getting a couple of kills. So many things are done well. Yet, it's a round loss.
Yeah, that is insane stuff from Muzi. 12 kills, only 2 deaths in the whole bloody map. We played 9 rounds so far. He's only died in 2 of them. How does that even happen when his team has lost 3 rounds? I genuinely don't know how he's achieved such an insane scoreline, but a big clutch like that. Yeah, really, he's got KINOTROPE in his back pocket at the moment. It's massive because, yes, this guy was once a world champion. Once upon a time, Muzi was regarded as, potentially the best player in the world. Back at peak NIP days, him and Pino were like the 2-star fraggers on that team. But you know what Muzi was doing before he joined DPLUS? He was a bench warmer for NIP. He's been sitting on the bench doing nothing for that roster because people said maybe he's just not as good as he once was. Maybe he's past his prime. Well, he comes down, fresh new team, and he looks fire here for DPLUS. A great round for him. And now for DPLUS Kia, I mean, look at this. They've just made a clean sweep of 3 different bomb site defenses. Yeah. KINOTROPE now have to do the same on the attacking side just to push overtime.
And DPLUS is being smart. They go back to top floor, they pick up the clash again, pick up a bunch of like anti-push. KINOTROPE banned the smoke, now they play Tashanka. It's again, I said this back in after the 7th round was played. Do you ban the clash to make top floor weaker, but then don't do anything about the secondary and tertiary bomb site that we just saw? Or do you do something else? Well, they banned the smoke, which means clash will get abused, of course, and now KINOTROPE have to counter. They got the Nomad, they got the Capital, they got a Bach that can do it vertically. They do technically have different ways of dealing with Nears, but it comes down to how well they can execute upon it. And is Nears going to make a mistake? Not necessarily. Because now that you have Tashanka, you have a different way of winning this round if you're DPLUS. You can deny any of the safe plant positions from a very, very far away angle, bouncing those Molotovs from Tashanka. And if Leipzig's gonna push you in these hallways, you can also do the same thing. Tashanka fire the floor and stun and force back Aegir on the BB. So we gotta see how KINOTROPE can problem solve. Right now it's Bach downstairs looking for the kite claws to help open up the walls and then try and find a bit of a locality on Tashanka and Clash's location, because those are the 2 most important defenders for this round.
There's so much time delay here. Aegir needs to find a big kill. But yeah, he gets revealed. That Deeper signals to DPLUS that he's trying to sneak up the mezzanine, and it's not so sneaky anymore, is it? Blackbeard could have a big impact, but like you said, can't afford to see this clash at any point. Aggressive play now from Akayu. He's got an EMP in pocket he could use on the clash. Oh, he's completely frying the clash now. Nears goes for a swing. Oh my god! He's gone and found double. 4v3 now, and the Brazilians are well in control. Muzi holding down the fort in Mask. C4 goes out. Akayu finds one. Good reply from Muzi. As the Warden can peer through the smoke, looks to get aggressive. He knows exactly where Gatarada is. It's shotgun v shotgun. As the Hibana brings out the Supernova, and it is super indeed. Eclair and Gatarada now, 15 seconds or less, and they have to clutch. There's a Clash Shield staring Eclair down. We need Gatarada to be the man of the hour, but he's been shut down by guess who? It's Muzi! For DPLUS Kia, he has been their hero, and he asserts his dominance on KINOTROPE. Now they're 1 map away from the grand final. Cafe coming up next. Yeah, a little bit of a quick one, hey? The first half looked very tight, very close, but second half, a very different story. How did you feel about KINOTROPE versus Muzi?
I fixed my camera, James. It's out of focus. Get that later. You know, unlike Muzi's gameplay, crystal clear. My camera, not so much. Muzi had one of the most dominating one-mappers of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, ridiculous. There's a whole highlight reel just for this guy alone.
Yeah, it was insane. 1v1 clutch in the first half, and another 1v1 clutch later on as well. Muzi was just always there, always with one of his teammates, sometimes making a play by himself. Insane performance from him. Such a glow up. And of course, it's the only roster change that DPLUS Kia have made coming into 2026 was picking up Muzi. And a lot of people might have thought, okay, like, I mean, yeah, you've got some pedigree here in Muzi. He has a lot of history. He's won a 6 Invitational with NIP. But it's been a long time.
It's been a while.
Since, yeah, of course. He was in Black Dragons before that. But of course, Bullets, who previously was on this team, had to depart. You look at the comparison between these two players. Muzi, 15 kills to 2 deaths, 7.5 KD ratio. Dude, like, that is an instant accusation if you find that in ranked. Entry kills 2. He also had 2 clutches, which this graphic doesn't even show you. It's insane. 83% cost rating. This is like one of the best single map results I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. And the fact that KINOTROPE had, a lot of close rounds with Muzi popping off. I mean, they would have won 1 or maybe even 2 more rounds from the side of KINOTROPE had Muzi not been in their way. It just goes to show, yeah, 7-3 scoreline, but at the end, honestly, that could have been a 5-1 half, 4-2 half for KINOTROPE on the defensive side, easily rocking them into a regulation victory on side swap. It was Moosey, it was DPLUS showing up and having to put in 110% just to lock up Lair.
Yeah, and KINOTROPE now really have their work cut out for them. Next up, we go to KINOTROPE's map pick, and the Japanese will do what they can on Cafe to not only stop DPLUS, but to stop the king of the match today, and that is Moosey. 15 kills in the first map to just 2 deaths. What can he achieve on Cafe? I guess it's time to find out. KINOTROPE fight for survival here on Cafe at DPLUS. They can taste that grand final and the revenge that they want to find against CAG, that they could find later this afternoon if they can take down KINOTROPE here.
So good luck, have fun. It's called in the in-game chat. Operator bans on the way. We saw Monty banned up by both teams previously on Lair. We saw Mira being played a handful of rounds actually, mostly by KINOTROPE. So those two get removed. The second set is gonna be the Grim and the Ella. Okay.
A Moosey ban.
So KINOTROPE with some target bans here.
Yeah.
Don't see that every day.
Strange to see the Ella banned. I mean, I'm looking at map 1. DPLUS didn't play Ella at all.
And it's Cafe, it's a window map.
Yeah, it's funny. It's not like the most... I would have thought if you're going to ban a trap, yeah, Denari. But typically you'd expect to ban something like the Azami instead of that Ella. Very unusual. Even the Malusi, I mean, that's the main trap operator that we saw DPLUS Kia running. They ran it a lot.
Yeah.
Both teams, in fact, really love that Malusi last game. So yeah, I don't know what KINOTROPE is cooking here.
Also, a Mossy being brought out in round number 1. Mossy is a number that we still... I feel like we don't know exactly how to rate him. We see him in EML a little bit. Players like Benzemaster and T2 is quite fond of that operator. DPLUS playing it a bit at times. It's one of those cases like if the Mossy Piss catches a drone or two, you can have some insane value because it's so hard as an attacker to figure out where those drones are and if they're yours or the enemies. But if you don't find anything, you just have like a beneath average weapon and a C4. At least you get that secondary super shorty back nowadays to do some rotations to help your teammates out. But it does still feel to me a little bit like Mossy's a low value operator on average, with some high ceilings, of course.
He just doesn't have all the secondary effects that a Mute does, for example. You know, Mute is stopping drones, but also protecting you against, you know, the Deimos and a whole bunch of other operators. Whereas the Mute, the Mozzie, all it does is stop drones. But yeah, there we go. We do see one get caught. But now Levy, I mean, he's not in position just yet. He's still doing a setup with his shotgun. He's not in position to go and move that drone. He might be able to in a moment, if he's lucky.
Oh, he's checking right now. But I don't see it, so maybe it got destroyed by KINOTROPE. He's checking the default camps instead. The thing about Cafe here is if you don't destroy the called the basement cameras, the camera and bakery and the camera bottom right, you can actually check those default cameras as a defender and go, guys, it's gonna be a top-down attack. They're only gonna be attacking from the roof. Because those two cameras downstairs, they see the only ways in the building on the entirety of the bottom floor.
Oh.
So they should know what's happening. Look at the timing of that swing. That's such a valuable trade-off, right? You take down the Blackbeard, but you die. As Mitty was only passive util on the Melusi, you're gonna take that any day of the week because you're taking down the #1 push operator from KINOTROPE's attack.
Yeah, huge boost here for the defensive side. What the KINOTROPE look to do now? A bit of a repel, a bit of a lurk as well from Gadarada. He also has one Dokubi call still left in pocket. I don't think KINOTROPE really have many ways to try and deal with that castle barricade. We're out of Rotero drones now from the Flores, and the nades from Ayagator would need to rotate into position and land perfectly to clear that castle barricade, which is very difficult to do with a grenade these days.
45 left in KINOTROPE. They've kind of stopped their push, you know, with Kava going down. A good flash goes out, but can they find their way into these bars?
Oh, good kill.
Yep, they do.
Yeah, finding Falls was a critical moment there. Opening up cocktail balcony. However, now Nears can just simply rotate back into position. DPLUS Kia, they might have lost a player, but they responded, and KINOTROPE were not able to rotate into that position in time. Pressure coming up from the white stairs for Gatorada, but it's not enough. We need KINOTROPE to have multiple points of pressure, and 15 seconds did not give them very much time at all. The diffuser is cold on the ground inside of the bomb site. DPLUS Kia not feeling a lot of pressure. They can retake. They can rotate around the map. It'll have to be a big 2K from Akai, but doesn't find either of them. Near's low HP, doesn't seemingly matter. And Gatorada is still stuck at the bottom of the white stairs around the D+1 just by patiently sitting back on the bomb site and winning the round on time.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you lose the Blackbeard early on, it makes it that much more difficult to push here from the attackers, so relying solely on one operator. DPLUS being so good, Moosey being the big talking point all of layer, and if you guys want to be a bit more like Moosey, you're not going to start in Tier 1 teams, right? Where you can start is actually going to be in Tier 3 and later on in Tier 2.
That's so true, man. I mean, a lot of these players started from the very bottom. They grinded, and I actually remember this KINOTROPE team way back in the day when they were known as Donuts USG. They played in the Tier 3 into the Tier 2 in the Japan League. They ended up beating CAG, the best team in the region, in the grand final. The Challenger Circuit has launched, and how this works, Pengu, is you start by playing in these weekly play-in cups. And you can sign up for as many of them as you want. If you become the champions any 1 week, you immediately qualify for the Challenger Circuit, right? So it means that a lot of people, they've just qualified, they've just registered for one of the cups. Don't just register for the first week, because you might lose that one. Register for all of them. Seriously, and even if you win and you qualify, you can probably maybe give it a shot, play again, get some practice in. It's a great chance for you to start your path to pro. It starts next weekend. Play-ins day 1 and 2 are May 2nd and 3rd. You can scan that QR code that was on the screen there. If you rewind the video, you'll be able to register. And yeah, get on it. Tier 2 is where your journey to the Pro League begins, and perhaps even one day your journey to the Major or the Six Invitational.
And I know a lot of people are going to say, but what are the odds of that actually working out? That's the thing. There are so many players' journey who started seeing out of nowhere, where you made a friendship roster, you play with the boys, and you got scouted by a much better team, and you got an offer as an individual, or your team of friendship made that magic happen, and you end up going further and further and further. Great wallbang there, taking down Nears. Great start from KINOTROPE. But yeah, Tier 2, Tier 3 Siege is the place to be. And even if you don't have aspiration of maybe going to Tier 1 and actual Pro League competition, because you got a real-life job, you got real-life friends, you actually want to do those kind of things, it's still going to be a fun experience to play with your friends and just do that together. It's a more competitive version of Siege Ranked, right? Where there's going to be high-level players and high-level teams.
It's where the journey starts, so jump on it. Of course, throughout APAC, we have the Challenger Circuit running all year long. It's so exciting. APAC North, Asia, whatever region you're from, there's Challenger Circuit for you to play in. And you might even qualify to Tier 1 if you stick with it. Speaking of Tier 1, of course, DPLUS just one map away from the grand final here in APAC North. However, they've lost a player very early on. There's 0 picks here for KINOTROPE. Very unusual as the smokes go in. A Nitro cell to be tossed on over out. And it does take down Carwow. Levy didn't have info, but he has done his job. Levy's also heard the second one, taking down Gatorada. The fire makes it very difficult for KINOTROPE to execute into the side. Good kill from Ayagator, and Eclair as well joins with the pistol, no less. The GSH coming into action. Just falls on Moosey now with a minute to play. Very unusual that we'll see a minute to play in a 2v2.
So hard to plant here, though, for KINOTROPE. You remember when you're in a 2v2 position and one attacker goes to plant, you're effectively covering 1 versus 2 defenders. So DPLUS, they can, again, keep playing down the timer. Give KINOTROPE bomb site control because they cannot plant anyone that are mining.
Nice shots.
But they find a pick huge onto Moosey. He goes down. Agator 5-1 now. Just looking for falls for the last player. They got the yellow ping. They lock in that final kill, and KINOTROPE, they fight back. Blitz in the bombs that gets you forward. They die into the fire. They get shot down on the flank, but still, they have a way back into the round.
Big 4K from Ayagator that round on the gridlock as well. And it goes to show the value that KINOTROPE had in the offseason with all of their shuffles. They picked up Ayagator from Scars. who obviously already has a little bit of team chemistry with Eclair, who was his coach on Scars, who also joined the roster this stage, and Gatorada, because Gatorada and Ayagator back in the day were part of that original core 5 of CAG that played for such a long time in the Japan region and dominated the very top of Japan and APAC for the longest time. And now, back on the same team, they're looking like they are working well in tandem. Ayagator carrying the round for his team. I mean, it's just him and Eclair that have kills so far for KINOTROPE in the first 2 rounds.
I mean, it's about Moosey and how good he was, and it's only fair that Ayagator's gonna have a, another banger performance as well, just to even up the score here. Go 1 for 1. Now, Leo is a bit of battle of individual heroics. We haven't seen both teams, fully come down to teamwork, while they're both playing for executes and, of course, going for that bomb that has been a sole player popping off. But KINOTROPE, what I really want to praise for them is they are throwing curveballs and not playing default siege, right? That previous round, what was that attack? I have no idea. But it worked in the end. They got strong positionings, they got into the bomb side, and while they touched with C4 and Go Your Fire, they still had a way to fight back. So they are giving DPLUS a fight for adaptation, a fight for counterplaying the mid round of the server. See what they can do this time around. They got the IQ, they got some ratzing on the Dokkaebi, they got some entry for the Blackbeard, they find the Denari lasers that was going to be triple stacked beneath the window, doing a ton of damage if you were to jump on in.
Yeah, I like the usage of the IQ here, just scanning out so much info. We can see the Roteros from Flores come in and try and clear some of that util that's been spotted by the IQ. The Dokkaebi call rings out as well. Putting the defenders in a bit of an awkward spot. How are the castle barricades going to get cleared? That's my question. We have the sledge, but it's not easy to get into position to actually sledge open these castle barricades, particularly the one on the washroom's door from top white.
We hear the windows getting shattered at this very moment. I guess the barricade and seek out double door can be very tricky to get a grenade in there correctly.
Kai needs to
gotta
rotate.
get it right beneath the castle barricade. So step one for KINOTROPE should be to clear those castle barricades, because if defenders have put them up, it's because they care about what they're protecting. The thing is, they kind of just walk straight into Cigar instead. Now that castle double door protects them from any defender going into piano for a flank late round. So it's actually kind of working in favor of KINOTROPE at this very minute. And Nate goes out. Kawa, this time alive on the BB, marches on forward, clears Pixel on piano, but as C4 goes out, takes out Eclair on the white staircase.
Oh, wow.
That was cutting off the rotation and the ability to fall back or reaggress up a staircase. But with DPLUS, they're going to take that first pick and just play on this primary floor. Because they got numbers advantage, and they're fishing with a second C4 in pocket as well. And if they go 2 for 2, that'll almost guarantee the round.
Problem is, Gatorada is so low on HP here, needs to be careful with these C4s. They could pack a real punch, but Ayagator drops down immediately into reading and finds a kill. DPLUS was so focused on trying to use those C4s, trying to contest the vert, they didn't realize they could get dropped on from up above. Levy now tries to retake. He's being watched. The prone angle from Ayagator, the snake in the grass. Falls now, will fall as well. Ayagator has another monstrous round for KINOTROPE as they take the lead.
Again, really good explosiveness right there, where they're holding their angles, they're doing verticality, they're sledging open the floor, and then they're just walking through bomb site. The moment you hear that C4 rip, you just walk on in. You know they're going to catch the defenders on a bad timing, and the second they get the entry, everyone's working together, making quick work of the site, getting that last bit of map control. KINOTROPE with a great read. This is Cafe on the attack where they're in full control. They have been very reliant on the Blackbeard of Kawa playing as shield operator, and it's actually not been banned away. I was thinking that it just might. It's been Dokkaebi banned instead. That gives, of course, that global presence of ratting out the building. And then, like you mentioned, the Melusi was the high pay grade operator as the trap op. That's been removed as well. So now KINOTROPE, while they've lost the Dokkaebi that can kind of rat and skip the droning area, they've made the main push a lot stronger by banning away the Melusi.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea here from KINOTROPE because of how much that Flores has had to do every single round, clearing out castle barricades, Melusi Banshees, Denari lasers, now Maestro Evil Eyes as well. Get rid of that Melusi, it just alleviates a bit of pressure. It's funny, recently I've been talking with one of my friends that I play ranked with, and we both play a lot of chess as well. And there's a concept in chess where we call it overloaded. One piece is overloaded because it's trying to do too many things. You know, you have a bishop on one square, and it's protecting your knight on another square, and it's also protecting a pawn or something like that. And when one piece gets overloaded, you can trade evenly for that one piece, and then it doesn't matter. You get extra value because you've taken down that pivotal piece. So, for example, if a Flores is really overloaded and you nade him off of a window, C4 him off of a window like we saw last round, then not only does that give you value to Malusi, gives you value to your castle, your maestro, even technically a Rooney gets somewhat countered by Flores as well because you can jump through the gates and still manage to get it to detonate if you click the button fast enough. So yeah, I really like that ban there from KINOTROPE. Just give a little bit more flexibility to that defensive lineup. The explosives are going to be less essential. In theory, until they bring the Maestro, that is.
In theory, yeah. That's the thing, right? I also think that describes my issue when I play chess. I feel like every single one of my pieces are overloaded. It's like, oh, if I move this, like 4 things just get screwed over.
Do some lessons sometime.
Yep. Yeah, I'm awful at chess.
So am I. I still play it.
I always want to play like a Blitz version because I feel like if I don't have time to think like fully about my mistakes, I won't feel bad about it, you know? Because you know, you just kind of move off intuition and feel rather than sitting down for like 20 minutes straight and thinking, what's the perfect move here?
Yeah, I feel you. No, I feel you for sure. I think a lot of people have the same problem in Siege because Siege is such a punishing game, similar to chess. You make one wrong move and it's all over. Now we've had the bans come out, like we said, Dokubi Malusi. This has got a lot of the same strats being run here by DPLUS. I think, was that a player in the elevator?
Loading new mag.
No, that was all the way at Cocktail. So it's surprising to see Ayagator go down so early. But look, if there's anyone that you want to take down on KINOTROPE, it's definitely Ayagator right now.
And it's just stalled out the round completely. One big thing missing right now, Kawa not gonna shield on a Twitch instead. No mind, she's gonna rappel on him.
Oh my god.
He gets you forward.
Yeah, Nitro Cell doesn't pan out so well for KINOTROPE. DPLUS are on the verge of tying things up here, and the Evil Eyes are a real hindrance as well. Kawa will find Muzi, but a lot of work still to be done for KINOTROPE, and they don't have a lot of ways to clear out these Evil Eyes. Perhaps they didn't spot the Maestro in the prep phase because they could have repicked onto a number of counter operators, but they didn't do so. And great play from Midi. Amidst the chaos, he goes for a peek. And that is pretty much the final nail in the coffin for the round. Carwow and Eclair in a 2 versus 4. It's nigh impossible.
The Eli see everything once they walk in. They got a crossfire from Piano and Cocktail as well, so there's no real way for KINOTROPE to get a shot at this on the field. Like, look, this is waiting for them. The moment they walk on in, they are also gonna open up the castle barricade, but they actually get shot down. It's gonna deny one of the crossfires. So Claire and Kawa both on low health. Kawa now injured, leaving just one attacker left alive. Nears, what a guy. He plays the Clash, he plays the Maestro, he got the Evil Eye injure and the final kill from Freezer as well. A convincing round for DPLUS.
Yeah, potentially the most convincing so far. And now KINOTROPE have no opportunities to ban out any more defenders. This castle has been so hammered home by DPLUS, and they always have other operators that complement it. It just puts so much explosive pressure on KINOTROPE. We need so many nades, so many other explosives, whether it's the Flores, the Ash, the Zephyr, Gone Sixes. You've got so much pressure here because it's not just the castle, it's also, I mean, in this round, the Goyo. We've also got a bulletproof camera from Muzi as well. Muzi alone on the castle is bringing 5 pieces of bulletproof utility.
It's funny because it's called a bulletproof camera, but it actually can get destroyed by bullets.
Well, yeah, because it's bulletproof on the front, not on the side.
Yeah, but surely you could have built it where the whole it's encased in a full bulletproof cover, right? Isn't it bad design?
It is bad design. You should probably have a chat to Mira. I think Mira is like the head of tech or whatever in Team Rainbow. She's the boss.
I mean,
so
who wouldn't want to have a chat with Mira?
Yeah, I bet, man. I bet. Well, I mean, these days she's getting banned away so much in ranked.
That's
I can't
true.
talk to her at all.
96% of what? No, it's awful.
Insane, dude.
Like, so this is the thing, right? Thank God this game is free to play, because imagine paying for it, but then Ace and Mirror are locked forever because they're always banned away.
It's funny.
awful.
It happened back in the day when one of my mates from back in the day in high school, he got Siege, he started playing, and he was like, dude, okay, give me like some operators that are good for like a beginner to play. And at the time, it was Jackal, was like the obvious one. I was like, all right, dude, just get Jackal. Like, you know, if you're going to spend some money on like buying an operator, buy Jackal, because he's a great way to learn how to play the game, right? Because it's easy gun, you got, you know, pretty simple gadget. And then he's like, dude, why the hell did you get me to buy Jackal? Because he's banned every single game. And I'm sure that'd be the same if you're like, yeah, get Mira, get Ace. You never get a chance to play it.
That's so true. It's funny because, you know, stats and the vast majority of people banning the same operator. We've had, you know, parts of the game where like Jackal was a very strong operator, therefore he was banned often. Mira very strong, she gets banned often. The whole Ace thing where everyone's banning Ace, it's not to say that he's overpoweredly strong as a hard breacher. He's just very fast and intuitive to use. Yeah. Fast entry, though. Gator finds one, finds two, then gets traded by the Thorn Trap.
God
Chaos
damn
in the
it.
server. Got him out with a third.
Oh my
That's
god.
even numbers. It's a 2-on-2 with half the round to play. What just happened?
Flying chaotic round. Oh my god. Ayagator was insane though. That was a big 2K.
He's 11-3 games
hashtag justice for Ayagator. No one should be dying to a Thorn Trap after performing that well. Thorn, I hate you as an operator. I'm sorry, but I don't like you. You killed my boy. 2v2 as it gets back into an even scoreline. KINOTROPE have broken through a lot of the setup. Last time this ended up on a KINOTROPE 2v2 on this bomb site, Pengu. They did win it. They had Ayagator that time around. This time it's up to Leclerc and Akayu to step up.
Again, the issue with this bomb site on attack is that you can't really plant inside of mining at all. There's so many long lines of sight from red stairs, from pillar. So you kind of want to try and attack the dining bomb site. But then comes the problem. Falls is hiding inside a train and can lock things down as a centerpiece, with Nears watching from above inside a piano and cigar. And he's got the walk-in. They got 2 smoke grenades and 2 candelas. If they use those 2 pieces of utils correctly, they can dislodge the crossfire and maybe try and go for a plant cover.
Good angle from the hatch. Good pressure deep inside a train, but yes, they are baiting it indeed. Akayu is going for a plan on the other bomb site, and DK have absolutely no clue about it. None the wiser. Why is Akayu going deep for that pick? That is a very aggressive and risky way to play it. Nia's now in a 1v1. Eclair has fallen back all the way to the white stairs, but I believe there's a full reinforcement on the fireplace wall, so he doesn't have an easy way to win this fight. He's going to have to push all the way down the white stairs into the hallway to try and deny that disable of the defuse.
Interesting.
He hears Nia's... Oh my god, going for the reinforcement was a fake. Goes for it now. I think he's going to have the read here on where Eclair is pushing from. Eclair, you're going to have to go through the shot through the wall! No. He ninjas it! Eclair, you have just been made to look the fool. A lot of height there for Nias and for DPLUS Kia. They know they had no right to win that.
Yeah, big smile saying, guys, we just stuck it, man. I think the issue there is so they threw the smoke grenades in the door when they went for the plant. And then once it goes down, Eclair walks out of the bomb site and Ying dies before they can do much about it, right? I don't think they fully grasped what the wall setup looked like for KINOTROPE. So if you're Eclair, you're probably thinking the whole wall was open with a shotgun line of sight, which means when you swing that corner, you can immediately see the guy defusing. The issue is it was like the tiniest shotgun hole only close to the door frame, not far away from it. So he can't see the kind of defuse, has to rely on a wallbang and get lucky, and he starts to panic a little bit when he realizes that. So the reason why the bomb went down is the same reason why they didn't play the post plan perfectly. They were lacking a bit of information on how to play that post. It's something that in the perfect world you cannot discuss before or as you go for that plant, but think back about how that plant even happened. They went mining double door, spamming candelas, then they tossed a smoke grenade from far away, sprinted back towards Steinen, and instantly hit a plant. That was like a mid-round, spur of the moment adaptation, and because of that they didn't have the full picture. So they get down the diffuser, but they don't get the round victory. Another close one. between DPLUS and KINOTROPE. The final round in the first half, KINOTROPE looking to tie things up once more, just like on Lair. Get that 3-3 half, get a good start. After all, we tend to say that Cafe is very defender favored, although these days not sure. Moosey, so good before, so good again. Gets the window back to Claire, but Gator, he's always in the map, and he's always looking for a fight. He is 12-3 in the first 5, and now into 6 rounds.
Gator has single-handedly put the team on his back.
He has.
Wait, threat detected. This area is hostile.
But thankfully, he's on the Solid Snake, so he can very quickly clear map control here on the ground floor. Problem is, not a lot of vertical capability here. It's just the Buck and the Ram. If they are able to get into position, then that's great, but I thought perhaps there might be a little bit too much contest. It looks like they are able to get into position, thankfully. So the real problem is that there's no hard breach on this lineup, and no real counter to the clash as well. So the verticality being the only real ingredient KINOTROPE have, they need to make the most of it.
Strategically, they don't have a ton of things to do in this round, right? They have none of that, like, you know, the Capital, no shield. I'm a little bit curious how KINOTROPE intend to plan on this one. It'll also just be a case of going for kills. They got the ramp for verticality, sure. But then they gotta go either Bakery or attack that hatch drop onto Laundry Freezer. I'm curious what they're gonna opt for here, because as I said, they don't have a lot of ways to cover the lines of sight. No easy ways to get a couple of kills. But with Gatorada droning outside a Bakery, this could be kind of like a backstab situation where you bait the verticality, you maybe drop the hatch, and then you push Bakery instead. But I think he might have misthrown the guy in Bakery. I don't think he saw his location.
Reloading, cover me.
Oh, maybe he did.
No, he definitely saw him. He goes for the swing, goes for a second as well, and gets traded. I feel like maybe that was a little bit too early and asynchronous with the rest of his squad. Could have waited for the rest of the team and gone for that execute. 3v3. But one of those 3 on the DPLUS side is a clash. Now that can work both in their favor and against them. It's one less gun up, but it also means that he can pretty much single-handedly get information on an entire area of the map. But the verticality from Carwow and Akayu together teams up and takes down that clash. Now Levy's in an awkward spot all the way down at the whiskey bar. Midi and him need to try and clutch up. 20 seconds left to play.
They get it with Diffuser. Gonna go in towards Bakery now. Mitzi can literally win the round for his team single-handed, but he has to go big right now.
Yes, he does, and Levy's found one. Good trade from Carwow. He needs to find another one as a Diffuser is cold on the ground. Are you going to shut down? But Mitty! Another clutch for DPLUS. This time it's Mitty's turn, and he laps them both up. DPLUS Kia are looking phenomenal. 4-2 at the end of the split. So with the 1v2 clutch from Midi, DPLUS lock in a 4-2 defensive split. Despite Ayagator's best efforts, it was certainly Muzi's turn to go ham on map 1. Ayagator is nearly matching him 12-4 so far on map 2, but it isn't enough. DPLUS have really overcome on that defensive side. Now they switch to the attack. They only need 3 rounds to knock KINOTROPE out of the tournament and book a date with CAG in the grand final.
But it's the exact same story as Lair. The last 2 rounds of DPLUS have both been clutches. They've both been a 2v2 into a 1v1 type of clutch scenario. This could have again easily been a round lead advantage for KINOTROPE, but instead, they're playing from behind. Now, KINOTROPE will go on to defend here in Cafe, which can be very strong, but the way that DPLUS were attacking on Lair and how good they were at executing and going step by step, I mean, they were near flawless on their attacks. It does kind of beg the question, is a 4-2 enough? I'm just not sure it is. I really am not. So I fear a bit here for KINOTROPE. They have such a good showing, and the 7-3 scoreline on Lair and the 2-4 scoreline here in Cafe, it does not show the real story.
We saw the replay of that Midi 1v2 clutch there. A couple of things I noticed. Firstly, obviously, Ayagator is the top fragger from KINOTROPE. He's the hard one to take down. Midi shot the gas pipe, just a little tap, so that the fire is going to be hitting Ayagator as he goes to that peaks. Immediately, that gives Midi an advantage in the gunfight. Second thing I noticed was in the player reaction, only as Midi fired up, Niers got out of his chair to come over and dab him up. We had Hellraiser, their brand new coach for DPLUS from Brazil. He's been in the Brazilian scene for a very long time. He came over and was congratulating him. DPLUS, of course, all play in a team facility in Korea, whereas KINOTROPE are all separate. We noticed that on the player cams, playing from home. Yeah. And the energy levels that gives to DPLUS, especially because they're Brazilians, they already have a +2 to their energy score. It just gives such an advantage, especially in high-pressure games like this.
Niers is like the ultimate support player, right? In real life and in game. He plays the Clash, the Maestro, watches Caps. In real life, he will run over and he's gonna dap up the clutcher. He is one of those guys, like a good teammate, as we say.
There's nothing better than when, like, you perform well and your teammates, like, gas you up. Like, yeah. I'm sure that we've all had that moment. Like, we try really hard, we have a big play, and your teammates are like, oh my god, why do they play that so badly? Like, the enemies are never that bad for me. How did you get that and I didn't? It's like, come on, just be like, dude, you're a god. Like, gas each other up. That is the secret.
Example number 10,000, why Nomad is not a good operator, and well, it gets punished regardless because they're watching it with their gun as well. Good job there from DPLUS, finding 2 big kills. Cower strikes back though. Round's not over. DPLUS, they're going fast into this one.
Oh my god, how does Niers lose that fight? Unfortunate for him. He might be the ultimate support, but he can't win his fight. Oh! What a genius play! Detonates the fire extinguisher. It actually knocks back the shield from Falls and allows KINOTROPE to go for that kill. This was, what, a 2v5 or something? Thankfully, Muzi doesn't let it slip all the way. Now Akayu puts down his second mirror window a little bit late into the round in a 1v2 and puts a bit of extra pressure on. His phone ringing gives an audio cue to DPLUS, and the Gridlock's tracks will restrict his mobility somewhat. I think that was just to lock down any aggressive flanks. And now Muzi and Levy look to clutch up.
Got that C4, so also a plan shouldn't really be possible here from DPLUS. They have to go for a kill. Once they get bathroom control, they have it right now. They gotta cut the bomb site in a half from the rotation and lock down the position. But look at this. He's using the bar that's not been opened up to cover his own location and can try and seek out that 1v1 gunfight.
I think they've got an audio cue, though. Good C4 goes over the top. There's info thanks to the bulletproof camera, but ain't enough. And Muzi, man, they are all so fired up. Every single round win, every single kill. And the fist bumps come out in abundance as well. Hell is certainly bringing a lot of fire to this DPLUS roster. Now they're just 2 rounds away from putting it to bed.
So good from DPLUS. Again, watching the Nomad air jab, you know, hearing, understanding the run out, and hitting the bomb site right after. They're attacking KINOTROPE from every single angle at the exact same moment. And that is with KINOTROPE getting a, I don't want to call it a lucky kill into Blitz, but a good kill, right? Like you said, popping the smoke canister to stun the shield away from the operator's face of Blitz right here, and then getting the kill right after. If that Blitz is alive in the 3v2, they can just run them over on the side itself and just make that round so much quicker. But they recompose, and they figure out the 2v1 regardless. pushing together, using sound cues, using that Dokkaebi gadget. And DPLUS, much like on Lair, in full control on their attacking side.
Even minor details here for DPLUS make these players look so good. Notice in that 2v1 at the end, yes, they're peeking into information from KINOTROPE. There was a bulletproof camera pinging them out for the defender trying to fight them. But notice how Muzi jumps on top of the cocktail bar and goes for a swing. It means that he can peek a deep angle over any potential cover that the player in bar is hiding behind. It's just, there's so much confidence from DPLUS. And now there are really no second chances for KINOTROPE. I mean, 2 rounds and it's done. Now they go all in on Kitchen, bomb site here, Kitchen and Cooking, and I mean, you've got Pulse, you've got Valkyrie, you've got Echo, so much information. They just have to make sure they use it and find these kills.
Easier said than done. I like it though. That's a good line of thinking, but Mir sees the Yoka drone and expects to run right after. That's Echo going down. That means now the play is over. Yes, those Yokas are still going to be pre-positioned on the roof and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, you're thinking, why is Echo the one to peek that, right? It's the wrong operator. But look at the defending lineup. Who has a great gun to make that kind of play? Maybe the Valkyrie, but they're a floor above. Isn't the 11 Pulse with the Reaper? Probably not going to make that kind of move.
No. Not with the Echo dead. If the Echo was in play, it could have potentially knocked the shield back from the Blitz, but no, not to be. The Elamine actually does concuss Falls for a brief moment, but he gets into VIP unscathed.
Just waiting for the smoke to evaporate, can check all the angles, pulse no more C4 in pocket. So it kind of feels like a flank play has to happen now from the side of KINOTROPE, or a crazy gunfight victory.
Well, here's the
because they can start locking things down. Dokkaebi goes out, but they're gonna hear it.
Ooh, Ayagator is in a 1v1 here against the Deimos. Gets the kill with the shotgun, though. That is a big kill. However, it does give DPLUS the info that the Pulse is offside. They can flood inside. Falls, still full HP. Diffuser in pocket. He's actually not going to go for a play. He's going to go aggressive for a swing. Woo! Finds Eclair. Looks for a second one as well. Flash comes out. Doesn't success. And so instead he has to take the 1v1 against the Caillou, but he finds the kill no matter what. Ayagator now, again, called upon to clutch for KINOTROPE, and he can't get the angle onto Falls. 1v3, he spots out that second player. Might be able to go for a wallbang onto midi, bit of damage done, but he himself is low on HP. DPLUS know exactly what they're dealing with. It's a Pulse with a shotgun, and Nears is talking mad smack here against KINOTROPE. DPLUS are in their heads. And now Ayagator just says, come.
Come fight me.
Come and deal with me. Come fight me.
Discipline from DPLUS. It's
going to be a floor bang, surely.
Angle's a bit awkward, yeah.
Oh, almost gets the kill. He's taunting him. He is taunting him. They're looking to try and fight back. Look at the reactions on these players' faces. KINOTROPE, oh so glum, and DPLUS more enthusiastic than ever. The winning reaction is somewhat more mild because they knew it was an inevitability. It's now match and series points for DPLUS. They are desperate, burning for their chance at revenge against CAG, the only team that up until this point either of these rosters have lost to in Kickoff. Both KINOTROPE and DPLUS want their revenge against CAG. It looks like only DPLUS will get it.
Also, I mean, we're expecting that DPLUS, well, the winner of this game against CAG will be quite the series, right? Probably going to be a third mapper, maybe an overtime one of them. The quicker DPLUS can win this, the better it is for them. You would talk about the whole like warming up into a series, having a BO3 to start off the day, then going to a grand finals, how that can be very successful for teams statistically. But if you play like 3 maps full overtime, that's probably not going to be an advantage, but more than a disadvantage, because you're going to be so tired and burned out already, but only a small break between the first and second series. So DPLUS, a 7-3 into maybe a 7-2 victory here would be like best case scenario. You get warm up without burning yourself out. You show only 2 maps, only some strats. Mind you, they didn't show much on their defense of Lair, and they haven't had to show much of their attacks here in Cafe either, if they would have closed it out shortly.
It's the constant conversation we've been having, especially here in APL, because we've had so many long days in the bracket.
Yeah.
Is it an advantage when you play 2 games in one day because you've had a warm-up, or is it a disadvantage because you're letting that fatigue set in? Now, today is a shorter day for these teams. Usually we have 3 best-of-3s up until this weekend when we only have 2 BO3s in one day. DPLUS, should they win here, they go up against KAG without too much of a break.
Yeah.
And, I mean, immediately they're warmed up. It's only 2 maps. I mean, going into a potential 3 more, that's probably no more than they would do in a day of scrims anyway. Especially with, as you said, how dominant this second map has been. It's been a bit of a walk in the park for DPLUS. I've no doubt they're looking warmed up.
Can they get it done? That's the question. They're just
He has
fishing.
the SI 2017 charm. That is an OG charm. I don't even have that.
He's been around. You know, Musi, I believe, was almost like the Brazilian Bolo. He's like underage YouTube content creator making montage clips and stuff, and was highly sought after by a couple of different rosters, and that's kind of how he came to fame. He came to pro play. Mitzi, though, gets the first kill. Gator, the carry of KINOTROPE, 14 kills on Solace, removed very early on. So they're not going to be able to scout out those drones. Can't find the verticality, can't look for a flank. It's, yeah, critical player and operator. And with that, they drop down the skylight to take top floor control. So this is very quickly getting into favor of DPLUS.
The Dokkaebi has been so difficult for KINOTROPE to deal with as well. So much info gained by DPLUS. And as soon as they ring that call, they just move in. They're even checking for every tiny little corner. They're making sure there are no rats in the rafters. They're pre-firing every single corner that someone could be hiding in for KINOTROPE. And a second kill now onto Eclair. The smoke is down. The Solace is down. The 5 versus 3 advantage for DPLUS. And this begins to feel inevitable.
They're so close. Breaking the last bit of the floor before bombs that execute. Deimos Tracker, 3 in pocket. They are flashes. They got frag grenades. They can util dump and just try and go for a plant and just watch those flanks. KINOTROPE, they're waiting for the perfect moment to go for their play. They only get 1 shot at this. Flank red, flank brown, and get good timing.
Oh, great shot as well on a Gatorada. Midi goes down. An attempt at a response means nothing for KINOTROPE. The Brazilians are burning for revenge. They breeze through the Japanese and book their spots back into a grand final and another chance at the Kings of APAC North.
And what better way to do that than go into a flawless final round, 7-3, 7-2, looking so strong on the attacks in particular. The step-by-step process here from DPLUS and just getting to the bomb site, 5 attackers alive, and then picking it apart perfectly. That's how they got the rounds in layer, and it's how they closed out here on Cafe. And again, this is a great warm-up into a grand finals because now you got a ton of confidence, good bit of clutches, you're fired up, and you've had great individual performances. That's going to give you all the things you need up against CAG.
And it was such a great opportunity for DPLUS to really show off their individual play and their teamwork. They countered KINOTROPE in terms of the strategy on Lair. Here on Cafe, they countered every attempt at a rat play. And Falls is apparently is so chill, he's so not warmed up after that he's going to put his jacket back on. It's a dominant 7-2 for the Brazilians to cap off what looks to be, slated to be, a tough series. In the end, it was anything but a very cut and dried affair. And for KINOTROPE, sadly, it's back to the drawing board.
Yeah, and the thing is, right, CAG, they've been sitting down, they've been watching this game as it's been unfolding while they do their own match prep, and they can now sit down and go, okay, if we're going to go to any of these maps of Cafe or Lair, now we can do a cheeky counter strat, a little one-off, etc. And it does mean that if you're the team of DPLUS who want to here, you gotta go to different maps likely up against CAG for that exact reasoning. 100% KOC went from Levy, so Musi did it on Lair, and then Levy here in Cafe. It just goes to show exactly how dominant they were.
Yeah, that was a big game from DPLUS. Exactly what they needed to warm up into our grand final, which now they've booked a spot into. And what a rematch opportunity that is going to be. In the upper bracket, we saw CAG and DPLUS go head-to-head. And, man, KAG, they really cooked up some strats for that one. It was a 2-0 obliteration. DPLUS did not know what hit them. And I feel like we were just as surprised as DPLUS for it. Now they get a chance at revenge in this grand final. If anything, to me, it's such a shame that only one of these two teams, CAG or DPLUS, can go to the major. But of course, to recap the game that just happened, let's have a chat with Hell, the coach from DPLUS, brand new coach. Firstly, congratulations on such a big victory. How are you feeling after how easy that ended up being against KINOTROPE?
I'm feeling very happy. Now we just focus on CAG and to the next match.
Good. What has been the biggest focus point for you guys as a roster since losing to CAG? Because obviously we're expecting DPLUS, CAG fighting for first. That's logical. But when you lose to them that you did in the upper bracket, what's been the focus point since to get back at them?
I think against our game, they counter us a lot, so we prepare better to this type of stuff. And I hope it will be a great game now, like a different one.
Of course, we saw Muzi put in one of the best performances an individual player has put in APAC in a very long time. On map 1, 15 kills, 2 deaths, 2 clutches. He was insane. Obviously, he's the new player on the team as well, just as you are a new coach on the roster. Tell me a bit about what it was like adapting with the changes in the roster, and of course, as for yourself, being one of the changes.
I told you guys in the first interview, I will put Muzi again in his prime, and he will literally bring back to the championship performance, you know? He's getting back. He's getting back.
Good to say that.
Absolutely. Anything else you wanted to ask, Pengu, before we close up?
Expectations, predictions. Are you confident you guys can take it 2-0? Do you think it's going to be a 2-1? Any thoughts on how this is going to play out?
I think it will be a tough game. CAG, it's a good team. They play a nice siege. I think it's good to have a difficult match here in the region for prepare the teams for the major and even for the invitational. So I hope it will be a tough game and a good game too.
Quickly, Hel, before I let you go, do you have any words for CAG?
See ya.
Thank you very much. Good luck in your next game later, Hel.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, mate. All right, so we've done our first match of the day. Only one more to go, and it is our grand final, CAG versus DPLUS. And a lot of quiet confidence there from Hel and the DPLUS roster. I'm not surprised at all after how much they obliterated KINOTROPE in that first series.
No, and he did say it right there that in the very first interview, he's going to bring Boom Muzi back to, world championship kind of level, back to his prime. And I think it shows a lot here that DPLUS, since losing to CAG, they've been working on their fundamentals, they've been working on the synergy, and just taking this region very serious and not thinking, oh, guys, it's going to be easy. Pff, don't worry about it. They have been locked in since going lower bracket. 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, mostly convincing games.
Yeah, that's right. For DPLUS, it is a big chance at revenge for Muzi. He is back into World Championship form, but one team stands in their way. CAG Osaka versus DPLUS. The major is within reach, and the APAC North title is coming up after this.